We are moving again. And if you subscribed to the channel about 4 months ago where I was doing some moving vlogs, you might be a little confused. Like, didn't you just move? Yeah, I did just move and we're moving again. Apologies for not posting for 2 weeks. I really appreciate all the love on my last video. I actually didn't think it was going to do that good. So I really appreciate anyone that watched that video or subscribed to the channel from there. But a little bit of a life update as to why I've been a little bit too distracted to post. And that's because we've been dealing with a lot of apartment issues and have just decided to cancel our lease. We've had problems since moving in, not gonna lie. This place has never really felt like a home. Something I've learned about myself is that my environment, especially my home, really impacts my mood. And not being happy here has affected us in many ways. But yeah, we've had problems since the beginning. We've tried to kind of weather through it. And if you watch those moving vlogs, you'll know that we kind of made a decision back then. Our house sold that we were living in. We would have loved to buy it, obviously, but like most millennials, we're not in a financial place to buy a home. But now could be a really good opportunity for us to downsize, save some money, pay off our wedding debt, all those kinds of things, right? Like we never wanted to be in that position again where we were renting a home that we loved and our landlord sold it. So we're like, okay, our goal now is to pay off all of our wedding stuff. We paid for our wedding ourselves, mainly through credit cards. So, kind of take care of that. We'll downsize. We'll make that sacrifice. And then at the same time, be able to save. So we downsized by a lot. This is not an updated building. It's an older building. It's not, anything fancy. There's no amenities here at all. And we were used to that. Again, living in a house, you don't really have amenities. There's not like a clubhouse or a pool or things like that, right? So we're like, it's just a roof over our heads. And we tried to make it cute. We've painted it. We've tried to decorate it. We've bought new furniture, more plants, things like that. We've really tried. But the biggest issue is that since the very beginning, there have been cockroaches here. Vile, vile, gross thing. It's been such a nightmare. They've brought traps. They fumigated twice. We've complained so many times. And that's just like, I think the biggest issue. There's so many other issues. The reasons why we moved here, like the money aspect, it's not worth the mental health aspect. We much rather spend the same amount or more that we were spending somewhere else in an updated apartment complex or an updated apartment home, something, rather than pare it all the way back, because it's just the property management here is very shitty. They don't really listen to anything in a timely manner. They don't respond in a timely manner. They're rude. And they gaslight the shit out of you. They make things feel like your fault. And I think they get away with that because a lot of people that live here, unfortunately, don't have the luxury that Rich and I do, which is if we don't like this place, we've got the resources and the ability to get up and move. Whereas for other people, they really need to stay in this price range. And some people have been living here for a long time, so I'm sure they're paying a lot less than what we are, right? So like they don't cause a ruckus because they don't want to put their housing in jeopardy without realizing that they have rights. So there was one day that I was cooking about a month ago now, and yeah, just cockroach on the floor, on the microwave, on the counter where I'm chopping vegetables, and I just got disgusted. It's like, I can't cook and eat in a place like this. Like, I can't take it anymore. So I filled out a request. I didn't hear back for days. And because of that, I sent them a super strongly worded email, the property manager and the maintenance folks. The company itself, like I sent a really strongly worded letter about how they're breaking tenant code, habitability laws, cited them all and told them we want to cancel our lease. This is not okay. And you've had more than enough time to rectify the situation. We've been accommodating, and like having your place fumigated, it's not easy. It's a lot of prep. You have to pull everything off the walls. You move them into the middle of the floor. This is a small apartment, right? So like everything from the kitchen and the living room is all piled on top of each other in the living room. That's our dishes, our cups, desk, plants, everything, couch, everything's in the middle of the room. Nothing can be along the baseboards or on the walls. Same thing in the kitchen, like nothing can be in the cupboards or anything like that. In the bedroom, everything was just piled onto the bed, out of the closet, all of our clothes, just everything piled there on the bed and moved into the middle of the room, which gives you no space to move around. It took us hours to do that. And then after they fumigated, hours to put it back. And it's not like a quick fumigation, then you come back too. it's, you have to be gone out of your house for 4 hours. We have a pet, we have jobs, I work from home. They offered no kind of like easy way to make this happen. Okay, could like a weekday or a weekend work for you guys, or after 5 p.m. No, none of that. So there was one day where Rich just had to miss work so that we could kind of get all this together. And very little communication. For the second time, she was like, oh, reminder, they're coming out tomorrow. I was like, you never fucking told us, but we want this problem to be addressed. So now we're late at night, getting everything together, early in the morning, getting everything together, running over to a family member's house so that we can hunker down there for the day. And so we were so super tired of dealing with the issue because we had done that twice. And again, there's other problems. The washing machines often are broken and don't really do their job. And it's expensive. You think that it wouldn't be that expensive. But I think if you do the math, every month, we can spend anywhere from like 60 to 80 bucks on laundry. But yeah, after days and days, I think it was like 2 weeks of going back and forth and letting them know, like, you're not going to bulldoze me. I know what the laws are. I know what the tenant codes are. And I have rights. You guys haven't fixed this situation. There's a reason why like cockroaches and vermin are specifically named with time frames in habitability codes and in safety codes, is because they cause such a severe threat to health and safety. It is not healthy to be living with cockroaches, right? And we're not the only ones. Like, there are multiple units, and they keep saying this isn't a building-wide problem. If you have it in a unit, it's a building-wide problem. They are trying to be good gaslighters and like, oh, it's just a couple of units. It's not the whole building. If it's in a couple, it'll be it all. Just because people don't complain doesn't mean it's not there. So, yeah, I've spoken to so many neighbors that have it, and I'm done. So finally they agreed, and they kind of made it seem like they were doing me a favor. She gave me a call and she's like, as a courtesy, we'll let you out of the lease without penalty. Typically you have to pay out, depending on the situation, you have to pay out either an additional month's rent and you forfeit your security deposit, or you just pay out the term of the lease. I was like, as a courtesy, are you fucking kidding me? No. And I went off on her. I was like, you've got to be joking. How dare you try to spin it as a courtesy to me. But now we were left in the situation of like, oh shit, I asked for the lease to be canceled end of month, and we are in the first week of October. Like, we got to find something fast. So while we were kind of going back with property management, we were touring some places. There was one weekend where I think we saw like 7 places. Knowing what we know from here, we definitely took that to some of the places we toured. We toured some complexes, some like renovated fourplexes or duplexes. Try to see the range of what's around and what's available, all within the same price range. So I can do another video maybe showing some of the places that we toured. We were just so frustrated with the situation, and we're still living with it. They've stopped kind of doing stuff for our unit. Anytime we pull out a maintenance request, they just cancel it. So, which I think is so shitty. It's just really bad property management. I don't often wish anyone's business or livelihood to go under, but I'm like, these people are slumlords. They don't deserve to be in business. They don't deserve to be taking these people's money. And I've shared resources with my neighbor who's also dealing with a lot of stuff similar to us, like with the cockroaches and things, and our downstairs neighbor who's really, really old, and he's lived in the building for like 22 years, and you think they'd take care of someone like that more, and they just don't. They also ignore his requests, or they take a really long time to get back to him, and it's not appropriate and it's not right. Again, there's so many issues. I'm highlighting the number one that's making us move, but even down to packages. Like, I remember when I toured this place, I asked the property manager, how do packages get delivered? Because how this building is set up is the first floor is all garages, and then there's like a really big doorway that has a big gate, like a chain link kind of gate. And you need a key to get in. And then right there, right as you enter, right on the stairs is all of the mailboxes. So I was like, oh, do packages just like get dropped off here? Do they bring it up to your apartment door? She's like, yeah, be mindful of what you're getting, because they'll stack them in this hallway, which has the mailboxes. Like, oh, okay, cool. I don't want to block anyone's entryways or anything like that. So I'll be sure to want to have a package to quickly grab it. That was a half truth from her. She could have very easily said, like, only USPS has access inside the building, nobody else. So you can't get Amazon in here. You can't get anything shipped from FedEx or UPS. And I don't know about where you guys are living, but there isn't a lot of packages that get sent through USPS. I feel like from most places I order, it's going to be either, FedEx or UPS or Amazon. And so for Amazon, we were using Amazon lockers that were inconvenient. There's no like super close to us, but even then they have limits. So if we were ordering certain things, they just wouldn't deliver them to an Amazon locker. So we'd have to ask friends or family members like, hey, can we order something and send it to your house? Which is kind of embarrassing, And so yeah, that's kind of the life update there. I'm so sorry that I haven't posted in about 2 weeks. I'm trying to just sort through all this shit. If it's interesting, I can post a video about the apartments that we toured prior to picking the one we went with. I will say this place did help us in asking questions. How does parking work? How do packages work? Like in detail. The first place we saw we really liked. It was a bit small in terms of square footage, and even in storage, there wasn't a lot of storage in the place, but it was beautifully remodeled. It was a fourplex in downtown that had a lot of the historic kind of charm. It was right across the street from one of our favorite coffee shops, a really, really good active area of downtown. However, she was like, oh yeah, you can't get any packages here, but my office is nearby. So like if it's a big concern, you can just use our office address and come pick them up later, things like that, which I appreciate the accommodation, but it's just like not something I want to live with. I think if you're charging people so much money, you need to figure out a way to get packages into your building. Like people move, they buy furniture, they need things. And even if it's big or small, like they need to be able to get their shit. But we are really excited to move, even though the moving is a bit complicated. So in 11 days, we will have a brand new place that no one's ever lived in, that has a unit washer dryer, that has a beautiful, beautiful kitchen. I think that's another aspect I'm looking forward to, is like being inspired to share a bit more of my home life vlogs. I haven't done too many days in my life because, again, I don't love maneuvering around this apartment, especially in the kitchen. It's so, in this current one, like it's a galley kitchen, but it's so tight. Like you can't stand in front of the fridge to open the fridge. You have to stand next to it, like to the side, to get it open, because you can't just, there's no space for you to stand in front of the fridge to open the fridge. So yeah, it's hard to kind of set up filming and do days in my life in here when everything is just so close together. So we're also getting a much bigger apartment. I will share that now. This one is, I think, right around 500 square feet, if not a little bit less, I believe. It's either 450 or 500, I can't remember. Whereas a new one is around 740 square foot. So we do get that. We're on the 3rd floor with our own private little balcony. So Yoshi's gonna love that. Just sit out there. And that was another thing. That was the only place that we toured that had a balcony. It has a wonderful clubhouse, gym area. So that's nice. So yeah, all in all, we are excited to move. It's just been really chaotic over here. We've been taking things to our storage unit every day, just bags and boxes to kind of put in there, so that the moving day this weekend will be pretty seamless. It'll just be big furniture. That's our goal, is just big furniture, no small things kind of lingering here and there. If you stayed through this very rambly kind of catch-up chat, thank you so much. I apologize for the lack of posting, and I really, really thank so many of you for subscribing. I now have 50 subscribers, which is so cool and fun and nice. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love for you to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and leave a comment down below. Have you ever just hated the place you lived, or are you a person that can kind of weather through it for the higher goal? Because now, our financial goals, they'll be pushed back a little bit because this place is more expensive, but we're like, I'd rather it take longer to get there than live here and expedite that process, because we just can't do it. But yeah, leave a comment down below if you've ever been in a similar situation. Thanks, y'all, and I'll see you in my next one.